Hey listeners, we are hosting a live free webinar tonight, Wednesday, June 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you looking to know how to lower blood sugar naturally and build a safe medication exit plan, we are going to do this without starving, slashing carbs to zero, or spending your life in the gym. If this seems interesting to you, just check the link in the show notes to register, and we'll see you live tonight, Wednesday, June 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
If you have type 2 diabetes and you're tired of being told it's chronic and something you'll just have to manage forever, if your A1C is controlled but your medication list keeps growing or stays the same, and you know deep down you're capable of more than this, you're in the right place. This is the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast, where Brian Bisher and Cory, two pharmacists who spent over 2 decades inside healthcare. And we started this show because we got tired of watching capable people stuck getting managed instead of rebuilt. Here's what most people aren't told. Type 2 diabetes isn't just a blood sugar problem, it's a muscle and energy storage problem. When your body loses strength and metabolic flexibility, blood sugar rises, and you can rebuild that. On this show, we break the scripts that say more meds are inevitable, you're destined to just manage, remission isn't possible, and instead we teach you how to build muscle, eat in a way that keeps you full, and regain control of your health again. No extremes, no shame, just practical strategies to help you move toward remission and lead your health again. Let's get to work.
Welcome back to another edition of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. Brian, you are glowing today, sir.
I am. I don't know what it is. I just glowing. I'm just very happy, Cory.
Yeah.
We're about to go to Florida. Maybe that's got something to do with it.
Yeah, because it's not warm enough where I'm in Tucson. Let's go. No, I'm excited to go play. I'm here to negate every fun thing you say. No, I'm excited for taking a little trip ski. Our families, we're not just friends on podcasts. We're friends in real life, and our families are friends too. So our kids play together. This what you're hearing is real. So today, you were about to say
hold on. We're going to have a little 3-on-3 at the beach. Wiffle ball, my kids, me and my kids versus you and your kids. Just FYI. Be ready.
I think it's unfair because my kids get to play baseball year round and they're a year older than your baseball playing kids, but you are better than me when it comes to hitting.
Wiffle ball, I got more practice.
You do have that. So this is not the Wiffle Ball Beach episode, folks. We're going to be pulling back the curtain and explaining exactly how we think about diabetes and why we built what we do the way we did. Because if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you've probably noticed something. First, we usually start with some sort of sports-related banter. Check, that's done. But we keep talking about the same things. In our last episode, we talked about why do we repeat ourselves? Because we talk about protein, movement, muscle, sleep, consistency, and habits. Because these ideas are the foundation of everything that we do. So, Brian, that's why today we are going into the 5 beliefs of the Diabetes Remission Partners.
Yeah.
Should we start with belief number 1? Should we hop right in?
I think we should. Yeah, let's do it.
So this is, I think, a core belief that drives everything we do, and that type 2 diabetes is often more reversible than people realize. It doesn't mean that everyone is always medication-free for life. It doesn't mean that everyone's insulin resistance can never come back. But the standard of care does not indicate how much improvement you can actually see.
No, I agree. The standard remission rate is 1%.
And remission meaning getting your A1C down below, I think, we'll call it 6.5% on no medicines. There's different definitions of remission. For our case, we would love to be out of the ultimate case would be like not even pre-diabetic on no medicines.
Yeah.
But the standard of care tells you that you go to different diabetes websites is that this is chronic, progressive, and you're going to need to escalate meds for life.
Yeah. And I think that's because they don't address the main cause, which sarcopenia, which muscle loss over time.
Don't get ahead of ourselves, Brian.
Right, I won't get ahead. But I will say this, is that you want to explain why do we use remission? Maybe people have not heard that term. Maybe they've heard reversal. They probably see reverse for type 2 diabetes. This is the reverse type 2 diabetes program. Like, why are we not specifically calling out that we're going to help reverse type 2 diabetes?
I'm afraid I'm going to get this wrong.
Actually, it might even be in our episode, our title. So maybe it's not. Maybe we need to adjust our episode, our podcast title. Sorry, go ahead.
I think when we say remission, it means it never comes back. Reverse can continue to reverse. And what I said, number 1, is that it's more reversible than people realize. I think that is the case, but we believe in also that getting to remission. And I think what happens is that our beliefs can really make our actions happen. And when people stop aiming for improvement and reversal, they stop believing that it's even possible. They start believing that they have to go back for another prescription. They start believing that they're going to end up on insulin eventually. They start believing that they have to fight the insurance companies every month. And sadly, we've seen this throughout our clinical pharmacy careers, is the people get stuck in this mindset that I'm just a diabetic and I'm going to be for life. My family was, my kids are going to be, what can I do? And this sort of learned helplessness is what really bums us out, which is why we use different language.
Yeah. Call it the patient mindset versus I'm going to start to coin it like the rebel mindset or the leader mindset for type 2 diabetes. And I think I was fumbling my words there, but all in all, I wanted to say that in our podcast title, it does say reverse type 2 diabetes. Really, that's not the most accurate thing. You're more like reversing insulin resistance, which then leads to putting type 2 diabetes in remission. But
that's hard to fit
I know that's hard to
hard to fit on a Canva for the cover of our title. It's too much of a mouthful. So we use that, but yes, Brian, your language is much more accurate. And so that is number one. And number two, we believe that blood sugar is a symptom, not the entire problem. Brian, what could this possibly mean?
This could mean that the symptom of high blood sugar is it's a sign of something much deeper going on. Like we talked about with insulin resistance at your muscle. It's not, insulin resistance is the real problem. Blood sugar is the symptom.
Because over time, your high blood sugar, when you go in and your doctor finally says, hey, congratulations, you get the diabetes card, is that over time, there has been this building of insulin resistance, which is where the insulin, which takes your sugar out of your blood and puts it into your muscles, your body starts becoming resistant to it over time. And this happens years before your blood sugar spikes because your body wants to compensate and wants to maintain homeostasis. So it's going to work really hard. Your pancreas is going to pump out lots of extra insulin as long as it can when that blood sugar runs high. And the high blood sugar, that is a symptom of insulin resistance, which is a symptom of a lack of storage for glucose, which is, as you said before, muscle issue, which we'll get into more. And then also energy toxicity. So what you're putting into your body as far as what you consume, that is the underlying root cause, is what we're putting in our body, how our body's able to partition it and use it for energy or store it. That is what's building over time. The end, unfortunately, when you say you have high blood sugar, damage has been happening for years. And the disease process has been building for years. And so we don't believe in just managing the symptoms of sugar. That's what medicines do. And we're pharmacists. We know all about what medicines can do. But we care about your blood sugar because it reflects what's actually happening underneath in your body.
Yeah. Cory, when you say energy toxicity, I really like that term, but I'm not sure that our listeners are familiar with it. What do you mean by energy toxicity?
What I mean by energy toxicity is that in your body, you have energy in the form of carbohydrates and fats, and then carbs turn into glucose in your body. And there is too much energy in your body for it to be safely stored in the form of sugar or body fat. So when you are energy toxic, it just means that your body is overloaded with energy. And the end result is you have high sugar in your blood and high actually lipids, cholesterol in your blood too, in the form of triglycerides, can be a sign that you've run out of places to store energy. So when we say toxic, it's because it's causing damage, especially the sugar. When we talk about, and these analogies can get a little oversimplified, but think of a bottle of maple syrup. It's all sugary and sticky. When you have sugar swashing around in your body, it is causing damage in the form of what they call advanced glycation end products. And so that high sugar is causing damage because it is toxic to your body.
Yeah. And then the high fat, well, the intracellular, like intramuscular fats, it means inside your muscle tissue, you get fat buildup in there, which that blocks insulin from working as well. And insulin, that's a primary place where insulin needs to work to store sugar safely. So I think that was a really long way of saying that.
Quick pause for a second. If you're finding the podcast helpful and you want more practical ideas to help move your blood sugar in the right direction, come follow us on Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners. We share quick tips, food and exercise insights, and blood sugar mistakes people don't even realize they're making. It's also where we can answer your questions directly in the DMs. So if you want more help between episodes, Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners is the best place to find us. And when you follow us, make sure to say hi. All right, back to the show.
High blood sugar is a symptom, not the actual root cause. So what's belief number 3, Cory?
Belief number 3, I think you've alluded to it, is that muscle is the missing medication. Because skeletal muscle is the primary site that we dispose of blood glucose in the body. So the more muscle you have, the more places there is for it to be stored. And when you have better better functioning and more muscle, it improves your insulin sensitivity. Your insulin can work better and you just increase resilience. A lot of people come to us saying, I want to be able to go to my kid's graduation and have a piece of cake someday. Am I going to have to eat chicken and broccoli my whole life? And the reality is muscle's a cheat code for having some of those more higher energy foods, your sweets and whatnot. Not advocating to eat sweets all the time, but when you have more muscle and use it regularly, you have a metabolic buffer to get rid of that sugar.
Yeah, I read the stat that we lose 3 to 5% of our muscle mass every decade after age 30. And then
oh no,
starts
I'm
to
approaching
accelerate.
40. Yeah.
That starts to accelerate after age 60. I think that's with no intervention. That could definitely speed up with even less, doing less, like being very sedentary, very low protein
work
diet.
from homers and desk job people who sit all day. That 3 to 5% is probably going to go faster than 3
to 5%. Yeah. And so then that's where people really get thrown off thinking like my metabolism slowed down. So reality, like metabolism doesn't truly slow down. People just move less than they realize. But muscle
I've heard 60 is when the actual, like there's a bigger drop off of metabolism. It's 60. Everyone likes to say, oh, I hit 30 and everything fell apart. I'm like, no, you hit 30 and you started working without moving. You kept drinking and you didn't move your body. So yeah. And the cool thing, we've talked about it before, revisit our muscle masterclass with Dr. Ben, is having muscle there. We talk about insulin resistance. When you use muscle the right way, you can actually get sugar out of your blood independent of insulin with GLUT4 transporters. My favorite nerdy things to reference here. And so when we talk about blood sugar, number 2, blood sugar is not the primary thing. It's a symptom. Medications manage the symptom, but sometimes the best blood sugar medication isn't always a medication, because when you build more muscle, you're actually getting at the root of the issue and fixing the underlying biology versus just masking it with a pill or a shot.
Yeah, you can't, we put this in our masterclass, so you can't out-medicate zero training and
you can't outrun your fork. You can't out exercise a bad diet. So sorry to that.
Or out supplement, really.
Oh yeah.
I say that too for the supplementers out there.
Yeah. We're not anti-supplement. We're just anti-excessive supplement and believing that it's some miracle cure. So
yeah.
All right, let's move on to belief 4, because we've been dropping a lot of knowledge on you. But I got bad news if you think this is going to do everything, because number 4 belief is that knowledge is rarely the problem.
Yeah. I was just rewatching something and I basically started off this video with, if information was the answer, then why is big pharma racking in billions every year? Because information is abundant. It's free. It's everywhere. There's YouTube videos, there's podcasts. But if information was the only answer, like, why are so many people still needing medication?
Did you know, Brian, that drinking regular soda is not good for blood sugar? Shocking.
Yeah.
Did you know that eating vegetables is generally good for you? Assuming to my people who are intolerant to certain vegetables, don't yell at me. I know but did you know that vegetables are like pretty good? And like lean protein is good for you, Brian? This is mind-blowing stuff. Now, in fairness, we have come across folks in our clinical experience that legitimately don't have the information. And when we give them, when they hear simple information like that, they're like, what? Huh? Or for example, they think they're doing something right and they're drinking something like the Arizona iced tea with honey. It's got honey, Brian. Honey's natural. It's good, right? It's got like 40 grams of sugar a serving. And people are drinking a gallon of this a day. And we give them that information and they take action and they improve. But if knowledge isn't the problem, what is? Or what are the problems? And unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. I was looking it up. Knowledge, there's the famous quote out there, knowledge is power, right? Well, we've talked about this before. Knowledge is potential power. You have to actually be able to implement it. So the missing ingredient is the skill, the implementation of the knowledge. And for that, it takes small, simple steps. That's why we break down habits and skills into very small, simple steps. I like to say, if you're at this place of, you think a habit has to, so repetition does form habits. Yes, you need some repetition. You need some triggers. There's a lot of things that go into building habits that are positive for you. Read the book Atomic Habits. I think that's the best book on actual building habits and the principles behind it. We won't go into everything here, but you definitely need to learn how to build the skills and break things down. And I also think not just repetition, but the feeling that you have from doing the habits. So if you start to feel successful when you do the habits, you're more likely to do them and continue doing them. That's why I've told people in the clinic before, set a goal so small, you feel like you can just step over it and then you just build from there. You just keep raising the bar.
All right, excellent. I agree. And I think to me, it's like a system. having the right system, the right environment. But we're essentially, you can have all of the right information, but if you don't have a way to implement it in a way that's sustainable, the information does you no good.
I'll also say another missing ingredient. It's not motivation. People, you don't need motivation. You need desire. You literally need to just want this, and that you need to be willing to, as a mentor of ours once used to say, run through a brick wall to make this happen. To get off medications, you have to be willing to run through a brick wall. You have to act like you have to act as if you would if you had a loved one who was missing and you had to do anything you could to get them back. We would do a lot of things for the loved ones in our life. So why don't we do a lot of those things for ourselves?
Yeah. Great. All right. We'll move on to number 5. And I'll be honest with you, Brian, with our audience, this is a bit of a self-serving belief, but it's a belief we have nonetheless, in that coaching accelerates change. And it's not because we think that people are broken, and we talked about, motivation isn't what we need, it's desire. But behavior change is hard. And especially in our modern environment, the reason that so many people have type 2 diabetes, are obese, have metabolic syndrome, fatty liver, is not that people suddenly became weak. I think that we are mismatched to our environment. And so changing our behavior in this environment is hard. And I used to honestly think coaching, unless I'm playing sports, why would I need a coach? But athletes have coaches, business owners have coaches, executives have coaches, because information can change minds, but having the right person in your corner can help you change that behavior.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. Did Michael Jordan have a coach?
Yes, he did. He had several coaches.
So even the best of the best have coaches. So I don't know why we think we're any different or any better than some of the best. If they had a coach walking them through, give them guidance, like, why do we think we could do something and achieve something great without that? I think the people who are successful, and in areas of our life, like I think of this too, I've started to ask who, not how. Who can help me do this? Because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to, when the stakes are higher, like when it involves my house, the structure, stability, or something like that, I'm going to ask who can help me achieve this, not how can I do this myself? Because I'm starting to value my time, Cory. I'm starting to value a lot of things that I didn't used to value as much. Let's put it that way.
If you don't think that I'm also along with you in valuing my time, we have hired someone this week to fix a screen door that has been broken for literally 6 months sitting outside of our sliding door, and also patch holes in our floor that had been there a long time, because we realized we were just not going to get to it. And so, yeah, ask who, not how. I love that. Now, Brian, we've gone over our 5 principles. And what I would like to do is go to our 3 pillars. We talk about kind of repetition. We talk about the same stuff because it's the implementation. So Brian, would you want to walk people briefly, because we're nearing the end of our time here, like what are the 3 main pillars that we focused on helping people to put type 2 in remission?
Yeah, the 3 pillars are steady strengthening. So doing it in a way at home that's accessible.
Doing strength training in a way.
Steady strengthening, I said that.
Yeah.
Doing strength training in a way that's progressive at home, a way you can be consistent with it, and low injuries that you just can keep going, because injuries actually are what derail people the most. And just having the actual clear guidance on what to do. So clarity a lot of times leads to motivation. Yeah. Second thing is, did you have something to add on that?
I did have. So when we talk about steady strengthening, like we literally are talking about 15 minutes twice a week of strength training, along with smart movement around meals and throughout the day. We can't just do 15 minutes twice a week of strength training and sit on our butts the rest of the time. Yeah. We do believe in other sorts of smart movements throughout the day that are non-invasive, that fit with life. So just so that we're not just 30 minutes a week and I can lay down and the rest of the time. We're not saying that. But I think, like we talk about, muscle is the missing medicine. That's a big thing that's missing from your doctor's appointment. So that's pillar 1, steady strengthening. Number 2, Brian.
Nourishing your needs. So crowding out the energy dense food that leads to energy toxicity with satiating, filling food that gives you more nutrition without less energy, without having you
more nutrition with less energy.
More nutrition with less energy.
Yes.
So you're not feeling like you're starving or white knuckling through the day. And really, like, you can do this in a way without tracking calories. You just track satiety and fullness.
Yeah. And the quick tactical beats of this, we hit on it so many episodes, is protein is very filling. It fuels your muscles. It doesn't spike sugar. So focusing on enough protein with your meals, and then fiber, which is just secret hidden code for vegetables and fruit. Because you can, to feel full, oftentimes having those receptors in your stomach making you feel full, you can eat a large volume of low energy dense food like lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower. If you're someone who struggles with hunger, let's focus on foods that make you feel full without throwing a lot of extra calories in there. There, I said the calorie word for you, Brian. So,
Thank you.
and that way, this is a sustainable way of eating so that you're not feeling hungry all the time. And in doing so, your body will naturally consume less energy, getting back to that energy toxicity we talked about before, reversing that. Okay.
Third and final, we call florist freedom. That's just a fancy way of saying basically you need to learn how to collaborate proactively with your doctor, learn how to help them deprescribe, have those conversations that they're not really trained to have and bring up because that's just not what they're taught in school.
Yeah. And I would add into that the mindset to make this a lifelong pursuit so that you can put diabetes in the rearview mirror for good. Because we talked earlier about mindset. And so you've gone over the 3 pillars: steady strengthening, nourish needs, flourish to freedom. And I'm going to be real honest with our listeners, Brian. We're not for everybody. Okay. And you might be new to us. We've been getting a lot of new listeners. And so this is why we wanted to put this sort of guidepost episode out. Who are we? What do we believe in? Because we are not for someone. If you're looking for a magic supplement, if you're looking for a secret hack, a 7-day cleanse or a 7-day fix, we're probably not your people. And we won't be offended if you move on to someone who's selling one of those things. But who we are for, if you're here for simplicity and to focus on things that actually work and just to apply them consistently, then you're probably going to love what we do. We keep it as simple as we can, and we hammer home the need to do it regularly. And really, at the end of our day, our goal is to not create dependence on someone else. We don't want dependence on a healthcare system that has probably failed you. We don't want you to be dependent on a coach for life. We want to teach you the skills to live life forever on your own. Because we always want to help build the skills, habits, and confidence so that you can take ownership and agency over your own health.
Yeah, said.
Great. So if this resonated with you, please subscribe. Please share it with somebody. Leave a review. We know that there are people suffering out there with type 2 diabetes and prediabetes. I just had 2 people in my circle of acquaintances that mentioned casually how they're pre-diabetic, or my doctor said I have trouble with my blood sugar. It doesn't always show up as we classically would think with type 2 diabetes. So this is a message that people need to hear. And if you liked our message and jive with us, great. Share it. And if you don't, we'll see you when you're ready to come back, or never. And that's okay. We won't take offense. But Brian, thank you for going through those. You did a great job of explaining them. And we're going to end the episode like we always do, because this is what we practice. This is what we preach. So thank you for listening. Keep it simple.
Can I say it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Please. Can I say it?
Yeah. Brian's gonna take us home today.
Keep it simple and do what works.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute, and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.